Dr. Chinyere Igwe is an accomplished scholar, a professional with expertise in broadcasting, human rights law, management, strategy, and policy. With a strong academic background and years of experience, Igwe has built a reputation for making significant contributions to academia, business, law, media, and public service. Chinyere holds a PhD in policy and administration from Walden University, an MBA in strategic management from River State University, a BL and LLB in law from the Nigerian Law School and the University of Calabar, respectively, and a BSc in management from the University of Port Harcourt. Excellence, scholarly pursuits, and notable achievements have characterized the academic journey. Chief Chinyere has served in various capacities, including Chairman Maurison Group, legal practitioner, policy expert, author, broadcaster, and researcher. His public service engagement includes a two-term member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, a former member of the Governing Council of Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, a two-term commissioner in the River State Government, former chairman of Port Harcourt City Local Government, and leader of the Legislative Assembly of Port Harcourt City Local Government. His research focuses on leadership, management, strategy, policy, SMEs, the Niger Delta ecosystem, development, and sustainability. He has authored and co-authored several books and more than 20 peer-reviewed articles published in international journals to his credit, and has delivered numerous academic and business-related addresses. Dr. Igwe has demonstrated leadership through his active involvement in public service, professional organizations, development initiatives, and academic societies. Chinyere has received numerous honors, fellowships, awards, and commendations throughout his career. He is a member of several prestigious organizations, including the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, the International Bar Association, IBA, the International Academy of Television, Arts and Sciences, the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, the Institute of Strategic Management, the Institute of Certified Management Consultants, the Nigerian Institute of Management, the National Institute of Marketing Nigeria, the Academy of Management Nigeria, and the International Public Policy Association. He aims to shape sustainable and equitable systems within his ecosystem, and is committed to fostering innovation, research, and inclusive growth. Put your hands together once again for Dr. Chinyere Igwe.
Mr. Chairman, from our party, the Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Ashera, Bombay, our August guest speaker in March, the one and only Professor Tony Heredia, our Vice Chancellor of our alma mater. That was at our own beginning, Professor George Ogunara. The Deputy President of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, the Zonal Chairman of BON, my very erudite panelists here present, former commissioners, distinguished guests, fellow broadcasters, men of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me say that it is with immense joy and gratitude I welcome you all to this special occasion, the 2025 Ambassador of Maurison Media Group. Today we gather not only to celebrate the passage of time, but also to reflect on our journey, acknowledge our milestones, and achieve the future of broadcasting in Nigeria, east of the Nigerian and River State. Maurison Media Group boasts of a Apart Television Network, Media Academy, and Wish FM, Nigeria 25 Port Harcourt. making them the first and only indigenous private broadcasting platform in Rivers State, transmitting services from Port Harcourt to the world. This demonstrates the abundance of good things in the state and region, transforming a negative narrative into a positive one. We have provided socio-economic advantage to the people, supported the government by utilizing an educational, informative, and entertainment mandates. We serve as your ambassador in the Nigerian information, communication, and technology sector. We narrate the story of our state and region to the nation and convey the story of our country to the world. Our celebration as the test of sustainability has become a platform for dissecting critical issues to cultivate the Nigerian society of our day. We live in a world that constantly presents personal, professional, and global obstacles. Each of us has faced moments of doubt when the weight of our challenges feel too heavy to bear. But let us remember, it is not the challenges we face that defines us, but how we respond to them. Resilience is a quality that enables us to adapt, recover, and emerge stronger after setbacks. This wise strength whispers, I can try again, even in the face of disappointment, failure, or loss. Resilience does not imply being unbreakable. Rather, it signifies having the courage to rise, even after you break. In those moments of hardship, we uncover the most profound reservoir of strength within ourselves. This quality is not merely innate, but can also be developed and nurtured. The people outside of resilience that it grows with every challenges we overcome. Yet, resilience does not flourish in isolation. True resilience blooms in the presence of support. Whether it comes from friends, family, mentors, or colleagues. When we lean on one another, we share the burden of our challenges, making them lighter and our journey less solitary. Support encourages us when we stumble, offer us wisdom when we feel lost, and provide a sense of belonging when we feel alone. With the strength of a strong support system, even the tallest mountains seem a bit more manageable. Think about the people who have faced incredible odds, yet stood firm and tall today. They did not get there alone. Their resilience, powered by support, pulled them forward. Each of us can be resilient and a source of support for others. Before leaving each other, we can create a community where challenges become shared experience and triumphs become our collective celebration. Let's share the story of resilience in Maurison Media Group. The company story is one of the most inspiring modern examples of resilience. We continue to push forward despite the result of licenses for 10 years for a radio station, 2006 to 2016, which would have ended our dreams. Instead, it strengthened our resolve. In the early days of building the organization, we faced economic volatility, infrastructural challenges, and political intimidation. Our resilience, innovative strategies, and commitment to contribute to the enabled the group to preserve and create the only indigenous media empire in Rivers State. This success was made possible by a supportive network that believed in this vision and played a crucial role in transforming dreams into reality. Today, Maurison symbolizes Rivers State's resilience, ambition, success, and inspiring countless entrepreneurs. As we look forward to the brighter future, let us remember that trials are a part of life, but so is triumph. And between those two lies a bridge built on resilience, collaboration, and support. We cannot always choose the trial we face, but we can choose how we respond to them individually and collectively, and whom we turn to in times of need. Let us lean on your shoulders to conquer the challenges confronting us. Help us transform our trials into triumphs, our setbacks into comebacks, our challenges into stories of strength and successes. Maurison Group is committed to fostering resilience within the Nigerian media landscape. We embrace digital transformation, navigate economic and political challenges, and emphasize credibility and social responsibility. Despite the inherent difficulties, we have established ourselves as a trusted media source, both locally and globally. We are dedicated to factual, thorough, and impartial storytelling. Through real-time coverage and accurate reporting, the group upholds high journalistic standards. Our professional expertise ensure the audience is a well-researched, balanced, and insightful news. Since entering the media scale, Maurison Group has been a beacon of information, education, and entertainment. We have shaped public discourse and set standards for excellence. Our commitment to journalistic integrity, technological innovation, and audience engagement has established us as a trusted voice in the community. Our commitment to high standard of quality journalism has led to a diverse area of programming. Our emphasis on accurate reporting, engaging content, and timely news coverage ensure that audiences are well informed and entertained, qualifying our position as a true leader in storytelling. This ambassador presents a valuable reflection and intellectual engagement opportunity as we explore the critical issue shaping the media landscape. In our reflection, we have established a new standard as the first media organization east of the Niger to gather the oracle and the new wave in media broadcasting. We are the first to gather the two leading figures in the industry in one room. Since assuming office, we have been the first media outfit to host the president of the Society of Broadcasters, Nigeria Broadcasters, Professor Omar the Party. Moreover, we are privileged to welcome Professor Tony Heredia for his first public appearance following the federal government approval of Tony Heredia University of Communications. We are fortunate to witness this inaugural event featuring two distinguished broadcasters and commentators. Distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to seek your indulgence for a 1-minute silence in honor of one of the oracle in broadcasting, Dr. Tom Adaba. And the soul of the departed, rest in the bosom of our Lord. We needed to do this because as we speak, Professor Tony Heredia, as one of the leading outstanding oracle in broadcasting, have lost a brother, a colleague, and a fellow. We are not taking him to weep. We are only telling him that the next generation are behind you. We believe in your sagacity, we believe in your capacity, we believe in your character of threats. We know that in this industry, the way you have worked and established this industry will continue to uphold it. In the same vein, Professor Omar Opati is the new face in the media. Please can we clap for him again? We are privileged to also have his presence. Having these two men in one room is a main feat that invites to say we have achieved as a broadcasting station east of the Niger. Thank you. Another point of reflection is the opportunity that members of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters from the state will have. As the president will induct them into the society today, Mr. President, we are very grateful for your approval of this induction on such notice. It is essential to acknowledge the Deputy President, Mrs. Christabel Mayayen, Managing Director, Joint FM of Benue State, for her instrumental role in facilitating this ceremony and ensuring attendance. It serves as Vice President, Frederick Fabo, General Manager Bayelsa Television, and Engineer ABC Bankole, Executive Secretary, Broadcasting Commission of Nigeria, were invited to this induction and we thank them immensely. In terms of intellectual engagement, we are truly fortunate. The capacity, capability, and character of threat of our resource persons are unmatched. With our esteemed chairman, Professor Omar Opati, keynote speaker, Professor Tony Heredia, distinguished panelists, and influential top leaders gathered here today, we look forward to an enlightening discussion that will not only celebrate our legacy, but also address the evolving challenges and opportunities in broadcasting, particularly for private media in a fragile environment. As we certainly thank our partners, stakeholders, sponsors, listeners, viewers, whose unwavering support has fueled our growth. I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the highest caller to our programs, Engineer Bankole. Similarly, our sole unsolicited image maker, Engineer II, for their belief, passion, and commitment to which Nigeria qualified FM. Today, we appreciate our reliable guest analysts whose unwavering commitment, presence, punctuality to our program offering expert opinions and rational analysis, thereby contributing to our legacies. To our dedicated staff, both past and present, your commitment and professionalism continually contribute to our successes. As we continue with today's lecture, let's discuss, share ideas, and reaffirm our commitment to a media industry that upholds truth, strengthens equity, ensures fair play, foster justice, support the rule of law, champion democracy, and promote sustainable development. The principle of sustainable development emphasizing meeting present needs without compromising future generations' ability to be their own. It includes environmental conservation, economic growth, and social equity. Maurison Media Group plays a vital role in promoting sustainable development by informing, educating, and mobilizing individuals, government, and businesses in various ways, such as raising awareness and advocacy. Our platform offers insights into sustainability issues, such as climate change, pollution, deforestation, and social inequalities. We utilize investigative journalism to review unsustainable practices, while our advocacy campaigns promote policy change and responsible behaviors. Influencing policy and governance, we strive to hold government and corporate organizations accountable by highlighting shortcomings in sustainability policies. Fostering discussion on global framework, such as the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and encouraging stakeholders to take action. Promoting sustainable lifestyle. Through our diverse program, news, updates, and campaigns, we promote sustainable consumption habits, including waste reduction, the use of renewable energy, and ethical business practices. Our partnership also influences public attitude. Enabling public participation. We provide a nice platform for individuals to engage in sustainability discussion, share ideas, and encourage policymakers to drive change. One of our signature programs, the Atlantic Town Hall Meeting, creates citizen journalism and empower community voice to advocate for accountability as well as environmental and social justice. Education and informing. Educating and informing. Media serves as a valuable educational tool for learning about sustainability, concept, and innovation. Our programs and expert interviews help bridge knowledge gap between the general public and the policymakers, supporting green businesses and innovations. Maurison Media Group promote green businesses, eco-friendly products, and sustainable technology by enhancing their visibility. Our positive media coverage attracts investors and consumers, fueling sustainable economic growth. Challenges. Despite the potentials, we encounter challenges such as misinformation, political interference and victimization, poor and inadequate infrastructure, and corporate influence that may hinder our efforts and role in promoting sustainability. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, let me at this point conclude that Maurison Media Group promotes sustainable development by informing, influencing, and engaging individuals. However, its effectiveness relies on ethical journalism, responsible reporting, and active public participation. Strengthening the role of private media in sustainability requires support and collaboration from governments, businesses, and civil society to ensure accurate, impactful, and action-oriented communication. Once again, I warmly welcome you all and wish you a fruitful and inspiring session. Thank you and God bless.
Please round of applause for the chairman, Maurison Media Group, for a wonderful remark.
A round of applause for the chairman of Maurison. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we want to invite the chairman for his opening remark, Professor Umaro K. Party, FNGE, FSPSP, FIPM, FNAL,
Thank you. Just before the chairman will do some pep talk this morning, let's do a citation of who he is. Professor Umaro Party, the Kaigama of Adamawa, is a professor of media and society and the current vice chancellor of the Federal University, Nashare, in Gombe State, and the president of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. He was appointed Vice Chancellor in February 2021. Before then, he had served as the founding Dean of the Faculty of Communication, Bayero University, Kano, the immediate past Dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies, and the acting chair of the Committee of Deans and Directors in the same university between 2019 and 2021. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, equally, he is the immediate past Vice Chairman of the Tertiary Education Fund Advisory Group and National Research and Development Standing Committee member. Professor Maurison Media, before relocating to the UK as a professor, he served in the Department of Mass Communication at the University of Maiduguri, where he advanced through the ranks, beginning as a graduate assistant in 1988, becoming an associate professor in 2002, and attaining full professor status in 2007. He led the Mass Communication Department at that university for 7 years. Professor Bankole earned a PhD in Media History from UNIMED in 1997, a Master of Philosophy in Communication Studies, and a BA in Mass Communication from UNIMED in 1987. In November 2017, Professor Bankole was appointed as a Director representing Africa on the 6-member Board of Directors of the prestigious International Network of UNESCO Professors in Communication, headquartered at the University of Quebec in Montreal, Canada. Additionally, he is affiliated with several national and international organizations and currently serves as the National President of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. Until recently, Professor Bankole held the position of President of the Association of Communication Scholars and Professionals of Nigeria. He also acted as an editorial advisor to 15 communication journals both in Nigeria and internationally, and has served as an external examiner at over 15 universities in Nigeria and abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, can you not permit me to unravel all that he stands for? Make welcome to our professor, Eminent Professor Maurison Media. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, MC. The chairman of Maurison Media Group, my brother, dear Vice Chancellor, the VC of Uniport, the guest speaker, another elder brother, Professor Tony Radio, the Vice President of the Society for Nigerian Broadcasters, the Vice President, the Deputy President, then the Vice President for South, our clergy, very eminent and distinguished Nigerians who are seated here, media executives and personalities who are here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me start by thanking the chairman and his team for inviting me and finding me worthy to be the chairman for today's occasion. I did not expect it, and when it came, I accepted it wholeheartedly, especially having an opportunity once again to come and interact with some of my very good friends here in Rivers. This is not my first outing in Rivers State. In the past, I had some few activities, particularly with the UNDP and other organs of the UN system in Port Harcourt and some other communities out of Port Harcourt. The guest speaker for today, Professor Tony Radio, who, as I can describe henceforth as the Pro-Chancellor and founder of the Gade University of Communication, is a known face to most of us here. He has placed his views at several levels in the public arena in this country. One of which, of course, the former Director General of the NGA. And if you look at the topic of today's discussion, the imperatives of private broadcast media is sustainable development, I think we are lucky getting an informed, knowledgeable fellow in the broadcast sector in Nigeria to take the lead and give us the talk. Since 1992, when the broadcast landscape was liberalized in this country, with the establishment of the NBC and the enactment of the law, opening up the sector, the broadcasting landscape has completely changed in Nigeria. It is just no longer a government-owned business, but currently we have a two-tier regime kind of ownership in the system: public, private, and community. But the easiest thing to do, perhaps, is to start a radio and TV station. But the greatest challenge is in the ability to sustain such a station with a large ownership through quality programming and reputable as well as relevant content that will continuously bring in revenue as well as expand the reach for such a station to remain sustainable. I'm sure he is going to tell us a lot more on how media organizations can be established and be sustained in the current regime of economic difficulty, not just nationally but internationally. With the coming of the internet and the revolution in information and communication technologies, coupled with pressure, political, social, and many more, then the economic difficulties, certainly broadcasting is experiencing very serious challenges. Broadcasting is in transition because of digitalization, and broadcasting or the media generally is in crisis. But you see of all these emerging challenges of new owners and more. But they are just not challenges. There are also remarkable opportunities offered by these evolutions. I believe Professor Heredia is eminently qualified to give us a talk. But I don't want to sit down without also saying one or two things about my great brother, Vice Chancellor, as well as friend, Professor Gade, whom I've been related with for quite some time. He has taken his early hours of Monday. I know what it means to be a Vice Chancellor of a big university like Banquet, but for him to sacrifice Monday morning and later part of the afternoon to come here, I think it is worth being acknowledged. So please, and to take the personality of the chairman to also bring you here. We have the zonal director of NTA, we have very eminent clergy people, retired and serving public officials, and so many people of good faith. I welcome you and urge you to please tighten your seatbelts, listen very well, and prepare whatever questions or comments or ideas you have, either for the panelists that are coming up later or for the guest speaker, who is, I believe, will give us a lot either to provoke or to put us into some deeper thought on the future of private broadcasting or generally broadcasting to this part of the country. Once again, I thank the chairman for inviting me, and I thank you most sincerely for your attention and urge you to give greater attention to our guest speaker. Good morning, good afternoon.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that word. Okay, so still on this, I mean, we're super excited. The house is full, and everybody seems to be having it already. You know, at Maurison Communication, we don't just work. Sometimes it's okay to have a little bit of distraction, and that could be in forms of jokes, you know, and music. However, this is a time we can have some comment section. But we'll invite one of our own, talking about a comedian that works with us right here at Maurison Communication, Saint Aboki. Please put your hands together as he comes to make us laugh a little.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Okay, let's agree. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, then actually that they wait for since. What they want. If I don't make you laugh, that's they say your problem, family problem, big you pass my joke. But the way your battery take you go, we go through a whole lot. You just won't buy poison. Drink poison, you don't go die again. But the way your battery they go along, people just complain they go. When you remember back then for drink, we dey chop better food for drink. Three of us. But now, my neighbor begin wait dream for night. They give her food. When they wake up, enter kitchen, go dey lick salt and pepper. They say the food wey they share, salt and pepper don dey inside for three. I know say the country don dey go somehow. My area prof, I greet you, sir. Professor Omari, good day, sir. Professor Tony, Daddy, when I small, I was watching you back then, and I was telling myself one day I will meet you. I want to meet you very well, but you say I am one of your sons that you forgot. We don't resemble. We resemble one of your abandoned sons. Daddy, can you adopt me back? You know, there's the way you abandon your son and you have to adopt him, but just like the prodigal son. I'm not prodigal. I can eat so much, but not plenty. I eat 5 times a day. With the economy. Professor Martin, your voice is hilarious. They say that's all that they teach us for school. As soon as I enter our mind, they skip. I know the guys go take fail for school. Fail. Your parents go to say, he dey do masters. Now fail. Because I don't know what they do for school. They just say you are a student. You don't promote. School no be your day though. But prof, let me ask. Those we were taught in secondary school like university. 2x minus 2 plus 2xy 5x. Up till now we never see the word x. So I have not watched any time they ask me to bring the x up till now. Draw palamasium, draw this and that. And now school fees don't cost. Small pikin when they talk, they say school fees is 45,000. The mama say, Mama, pikin is not saying anything. How much like? Say 45,000. The man pay. First step, the only thing where the pikin learn that, 45,000 go. The next step, they increase the school fees to 80,000. After the whole term, the only thing when they learn, the first step was worker. This is 85K go. Then the last step, they say they increase that. I don't want to carry pikin go as I'm going to teach them for us. Oh, I know when we are here, a whole lot of people don't imagine. I know we have different tribes that came together to make all this occasion. Let me greet us. You could have to make up. I know they're going to. You could have to make up. They're going to. You go well. They don't know. You go well. Business is anywhere you go man gather, 2 things are involved. If there is no business negotiation, there will be transaction going on. But when you see about this summer, they don't go there because what I don't this side. But when 2 or 3 about people are gathered, 2 things are involved. You can get no plenty, but I get plenty for that area. And when about people they answer their name now past tense. English again. What is the past tense of who fight? Don't be who fought. Don't be a fighter. What is the past tense of who take? Don't be who took. What is the past tense of who buy? Don't be who bought. Are they not a Bible? And any day you make mistake, buy ceiling fan, call a boy from man, make it come visa. Wahala don't dey your house. My neighbor buy ceiling fan, call a boy from man, come visa. Light no day. When light come, make it test a fan. New fan. As the owner, the fans have to dey rotate. Go to the header. And the same thing, make I put am for, make it go faster. When they go fast, when they hear he said, make I off my fan, make it not spoil. No, when fan they off, they go small. When they hear intro.
Thank you so much. Thank
you so much, God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Senator. That was a very legal time. All right, so I believe that we say that all play without work really doesn't go well for Jack, right? So this time let's go to the keynote. Please permit me to make welcome Professor Tony Dimeji for the keynote. Please put your hands together with a round of applause as we bring him up to the podium. Please keep clapping till the guys don't hear. Keep clapping till the guys don't hear.
A round of applause for Professor Tony Dimeji. Before he begins his address, I would like us to know a little bit about the professor. Professor Tony Dimeji, OON, FNGE, FNRN, FSSPSP, NIPR. Tony Dimeji, a broadcast journalist, communication scholar, and lawyer, is a consummate expert on both sides of the communication divide. First as an industry player and later as a theorist. Radio, an astute television interviewer, began his broadcasting career as a People TV reporter. He became the Director General and Chief Executive of Africa's largest TV network, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, like we know it. He was also mandated to run the National Orientation Agency, NOA, making it two of the large federal information parastatals as he headed them in Nigeria. After retiring from active service, he transitioned into academia, bringing 2 bachelor's degrees, 1 master's degree, and 2 doctorates. For nearly 2 decades, he has taught specialized courses in media law and management at various universities in Nigeria. At one time, he headed the Department of Mass Communication at Nasarawa State University, Kefi, and later became a professor in the same field at Dimeji University, Okada. Considering his involvement in media studies and practice since the 70s, Tony Dimeji is first an apt choice as speaker at today's forum. First, he has first-hand knowledge of political theories, broadcast regulation, and election management. In 1987, he was deployed from the NTA to serve as a public director of public affairs at the DISCOM National Electoral Commission to manage electoral information. This made him a pivotal member of the Humphrey Nwosu-led team that conducted the famous June 12, 1993 presidential election, recognized worldwide as the best election in Nigerian history. 10 years later, the Nigerian government seconded Dimeji to the Independent Election Commission of Liberia as a technical expert on elections, while the ECOWAS appointed him to serve as coordinator of political broadcasts for the first post-Civil War election in Liberia. This was to provide a level playing field for the country's political parties and achieve balance and objectivity in the coverage of politics and elections. His achievements in public and private media are unmatched. After leading 2 government parastatals, NTA and NOA, the federal government has granted him a license to establish Tony Dimeji University of Communication. It is therefore an executive and unique privilege to share perspectives at this forum with the Professor Tony Dimeji, a true professional, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, the Nigerian Institute of Management, NIM, the Society for Peace Studies and Practice, SPSP, and the Pro-Counselor of the Tony Dimeji University of Communication as he delivers the keynote address at the 2025 anniversary lecture of Maurison Media Group on the imperative of private broadcast media for sustainable development. Dimeji is a fulfilled recipient of Nigeria's National Honors of Office of the Order of the Niger, OON. Please make a warm welcome as we proceed.
Thank you very much. The chairman of the occasion and my distinguished Professor Maurison, the Vice Chancellor, University of Port Harcourt, my sister and colleague, Dr. Mrs. Evelyn Mosu, Zonal Director, NTA Port Harcourt, all other distinguished ladies and gentlemen here, I thank you for the opportunity to share views on this very important lecture. I must say that the Maurison Group made one small mistake today. They didn't provide opportunity for you to see the lecture by PowerPoint. In this age of technology, that is where to start from. All right. Let me do a summary so that if we start sleeping before I finish, you would have heard the main thing. Now, what is the objective of this paper? The objective is to sensitize the audience on the pivotal role of the private media in societal development, as well as the experience of ensuring that there is synergy with other media forms so that society can proactively survive over time. What are we likely to gain at the end of the lecture? The first will be that those who have listened are likely to be able to appreciate the existence of media in all its forms as agents of positive societal change. The second is that we should be able to identify the importance of instituting in every society media forms that are outside of government control. The third is for us all to ascend to the larger posture of collaborating with other media forms to work towards attaining sustainable growth and development in society. And finally, we hope that we shall all remain steadfast on how to use the media to improve society instead of allowing challenges to deceive them for professionalism. On this call, I want to thank my brother, Dr. Dimeji, for not asking me to come and deliver a lecture on challenges. Because most people do that. Then they will tell you about 100 challenges. How do you overcome that? So the argument is, let us not talk too much about challenges. Let us talk about how we can use professionalism to surmount the challenges that we have so that the media can help us get an equitable and viable society. So thank you, my brother, for the invitation. Now, we start off by looking at the issue of development. I always want to remind people that there are two groups of people that develop society. The first is government, and the second is the people. From time immemorial, these two people came together in what is properly known in political philosophy as the principle of social contract, where it was agreed that the people will surrender their rights to government so that government can look after them, protect them, and ensure that they are safe and secure. So that's the contract, two sides to the contract. One will protect, the other will carry out civil duties. Now, what is government supposed to do? Government is supposed to secure the people, supposed to make sure that the welfare of the people is also fulfilled, and also to ensure that society is modernized. Government should therefore produce projects that will make us different from how we were the year before. In those days when I was in office, I used to come to Port Harcourt easily. There were many flights, and these flights were about 4, 5, 6 in one day. But yesterday I learned that the last flight coming out of Port Harcourt to Abuja is 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock in the morning is the last flight coming out of an international airport. Now, you see that there is no growth. We need to speak about this so that if we are not ready for things, let us not start it. Let us not be building hotels, airports here and there that will not operate. So society must develop. And for society to develop, government must play those roles that we have identified. The people themselves must ensure that they play their own role. That is, they perform civic duty. They vote, they pay tax, they carry out community service, they take part in such things as national youth service or growth. So when you play your role and government plays its role, there's a tendency for society to develop. But if we don't, then that is where the media comes in. Between the people and the government, the media is the bridge. Right? As a bridge builder, it's the duty of the media to remind government what it has said it will do. It's also the duty of the media to mobilize Nigerians to play their role in government. You see, the role of Nigerians in government that I have seen in the last couple of decades that I have been around is to grumble. Nigerians always grumble. But people don't want to pay tax. People don't want to vote. They tell you that, oh, the queue is too long. And at the end of the day, you elect people you don't want. They get there, they do what they like, you stop, you continue with your part-time grumbling. So play your role. Play the civic duty of the citizen, and you find out that society will change. It's therefore the responsibility of the media to prepare government to develop society, to hold government accountable to the people in accordance with Section 22 of the Nigerian Constitution. It's the duty of the media to mobilize people to perform civic duties. It's the duty of the media to educate people on the values of self-help. Many of us are always talking about what government has not done. And sometimes we forget that the more we complain about what government has not done, the more we shortcut ourselves. So we must also learn to do some self-help activities. In other words, it is the role of the media to keep the people informed on public policies. It is also the role of the media to encourage the government that in citing projects and in carrying out any activities in furtherance of public policy, it is good to know the preferences of the people. Where I come from, we used to have a government, and the vice president was from our state at that time. So this vice president went and put a big water reservoir in the village. And so they went and put a big hospital in the village. So the people came together and went to him. So thank you, sir, for bringing us hospital. We don't want hospital. We don't want to be sick. We want water. So if we have water, we won't be sick. So we won't go to hospital. Now, the meaning of that is that government alone cannot determine the location of projects or the prioritization of projects. You need to know what the people prefer before you begin to give them things. You don't just give them things and then you clap and say, oh, we have opened so many centers. And meanwhile, it is not those centers that the people are looking for. So the media has to let government know the preferences of the people. Which media are we talking about? All media, print media, newspapers and magazines, electronic media, the broadcast media, radio and TV, digital online platforms, social networks, even outdoor physical advertising in public spaces. All of them are media forms. We need all of this media to prepare government to play its role and to mobilize the people to hear what government wants and what the people want. Now, having told us about the media, which we all know, we also need to break it. That media is not one entity. Yes, media is a name for all the forms of media, but there are private media and there are public media. They are different. Today's lecture is on private media. What can the private media do? So first and foremost, we need to know the features of private media. The first is that they are usually independent. They are free from direct government control. They are profit-driven. And so they focus on revenue through advertisements and subscriptions. They also have diversity of content. They don't just say what the government said, what the minister said, what the prime minister said, but they also say what other people say. They have diversity of content. They also adapt to audience preferences. In other words, private media is flexible. When you go to the public media, they draw a schedule. These are the programs we have. If you like, let the president die. They will be showing those things that they have scheduled. They know everybody is waiting for something else. But if you are in the private media, you just change it. Alright? When you want to change it in public media, you have to first of all tell the PM, who will tell the MD, who will tell the secretary, who will tell the prime minister, who will tell. So by the time you tell, the event has ended. And that's the difference. The private media is more disposed to investigative journalism. Why? Because they are freer. They are more available to the principles of discretion and initiative. You know, those of us who have managed the public media, sometimes we begin to regret that we even have to go that way. I remember when I was appointed DGT, and I went there and I saw my staff doing a few things I didn't like. I said, why are you doing this? They said, sorry sir, that's the way we do it. You see? Instead of this is the best way, they said, that's the way we normally do it. I said, why don't you do it? I said, no, we don't used to do it like that. No discretion, no initiative. I didn't say that they are police. What I'm saying is that no initiative, no discretion. What some people call zombie. So, the private media have that advantage. They are more disposed to investigative journalism, and that puts them at a higher level of exposing corruption and inefficiency. So we see that the private media can do quite a lot of good for a country because of their structure and components, the way they operate. Now, does it mean that the private media can solve all our problems? The answer is no. They can do very well, they can do quite a lot for us, but they can't solve all our problems. Why? Because the private media, in search of profit, like sensationalism, is only what brings money that they follow. They are not interested in what is really news, but the item that is paid for. In the process, they shortchange the society by focusing on trivial and primordial sentiments. So, the private media may be great, but it has challenges. For example, it doesn't have enough finances to meet the qualities of materials and resources. Most times, the government even puts huge tariff on media tools and resources. Then, we come to the most difficult challenge in private media. What is the meaning? What is that thing that is the most difficult? It's ownership control. Ownership control. When you see a journalist, it tells you that the reason why I'm working in the media is because they don't control them. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's saying that government does not control them. Does that mean they don't control them? When government does not control, does the owner not control? Aha. So there is always somebody controlling. There's always somebody stopping you from doing what you would have loved to do. I remember a brother of mine who had a TV station, and he would just wake up and show all of us on one day one item that we all have to watch whether we like it or not. And what is that item? His daughter is marrying. That will be the only thing on the screen. Because he's the owner. And so he tells his workers, this is what I want. Another problem is poor recruitment and weak deployment of personnel. In the private media, proprietors recruit their relations, whether they are qualified or not. And because they are not qualified, they can't perform well. They also have weak training scheme. They don't train anybody. The moment you have left school, the only training you have is the one they send you from the newsroom to the studio and back. They don't send you to any other school again or any other higher institution to get an increased level of knowledge of the job. Then they also have lack of security of tenure. Like in all private organizations, you work for a private man. He can wake up in the morning and sack you 5 minutes after you have greeted him. But in the public sector, you have to tell the man what he did. You have to issue a query. He has to reply. You have to take it to management. They have to review it. And even if he's found guilty, it's okay, this is first time of quarrel, so leave him first. Let's warn him first. You don't have that in private media. If the wife of the owner says go, that's the end. So, having said that, it means that as much as those in the private media would like us to leave the nation in their hands, it is wrong for the private media to operate in isolation. The private media should never operate in isolation. If they operate in isolation, there will be a loss of robust impact on society. Because others will be doing what they like, and only a few people will be bothered about society. There will be reduced coverage of society, especially the local areas. You see, the private media has established in town where there is adverts. And by restricting coverage to just towns, the larger sector of Nigeria is not covered. There are many results of media synergy. For what I've said so far, it is good for the media to collaborate with the public media. That is, the private and the public media to work together in the interest of society. No one should work in isolation under the ground that we have more features than the other. No one has more features than the other. The plus here is another minus that way. The money that the private media does not have, the public media has it from government annual subvention. So both sides have many strong points that they can use together to ensure that we move ahead. So I would like to therefore suggest that the private and public media should work together. They should try to use self-help, that is self-regulation, to safeguard press freedom. Because that is what is missing in our society. Press freedom is not there. But if the media can work together, you will find that they will be able to use self-regulation to improve the system. If they work together, they will diversify revenue sources and attain financial stability. If they work together, they will strengthen fact-checking to improve ethical journalism. They need to work together to combat misinformation and thereby increase media literacy. The private and the public media need to be partners with reputable organizations, the NGOs and development agencies. The media, both private and public, need to embrace digital tools. And this was where I started this lecture. We are in the age of technology. And therefore, our media should operate as agents of technological growth. We cannot be doing analog transmission in this age of technology. Again, if they work together, they can encourage management to provide and prioritize worker motivation. Now, what are some of the take-home points I think you should have? I think we should embrace new tactics. The first is that adversarial journalism is no longer as efficacious as it was during the dictatorship. For example, during the colonial rule, the media were doing adversarial journalism. By that I mean the journalism by which you attack the leader. Always on the attack. That was how we were able to gain independence. It works because the media were fighting foreigners and they were all together. But today, the government of the day is the government of the people. And so you cannot use the same strategy you use in fighting colonial masters to fight democrats, no matter the shortcomings. So it is now time for our media to embrace communication for development. Bring out communication that can enable society to develop. Focus on communication for development or development communication. It is a better thing to do than adversarial journalism. I am not saying that adversarial journalism must stop. I am saying that journalism should not be an attack. Rather, it should be an opportunity to draw attention to what is wrong, so that what is wrong can be done and corrected. That aspect of adversarialism is still okay, but we must know that our country needs to develop, and so we must prioritize development communication. We must ensure that our democracy works, because as we all know, the system of government in Nigeria today is called democracy, but it does not follow democratic tenets. Right? In democracy, there are 5 major things. The sovereignty of the people is the first one. Today, nobody can say it is the people that matters most in Nigeria. So if we don't have sovereignty of the people, we don't have democracy. The media ought to follow that up. Secondly, is the rule of law. It is the duty of the media to project the rule of law. When you have democracy without rule of law, you don't have democracy. And a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that democracy is the same thing as civilian administration. It's not. There are many civilians who behave like soldiers. So don't think that when somebody is a civilian, he's a democrat. No. A democrat is the person who follows the rule of law and the due process of law. If you don't follow the rule of law, you are not a democrat. Whether you work khaki or you wore agbada or you wore dansiki, whatever you wore, does not make you a democrat. What makes you a democrat is adherence to these 5 points that I have made, namely sovereignty of the people, the rule of law, and then free and fair elections. Free and fair elections. You know, if you listen to the citation, you will have heard that I was the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission that conducted the June 12, 1993 presidential election. I was actually the person that was stopped from continuing to display the results in 1993. And I know what that meant. And we know how that took us back. As we are trying to come back again to being a nation state, the so-called Democrats are not following free and fair elections. During the Goodluck Jonathan administration, the governance forum was trying to elect a leader. How many people in the governance forum? 36. They were trying to elect a leader. There were 2 people. One scored 19, the other one scored 16. One abstained. The government now sent a letter of congratulations to the man who scored 16. Yes, that's happened in this country. Just an election of 36 people, we couldn't get it right. We couldn't get it right, so you can imagine what happens now. Some of you were at many polling stations during the last elections and other elections, and you come to the polling booth. You were there when they counted. There were 35 voters. You were there. You get to the evening. The voters in that unit because 205. You even see the politicians counting votes. 1, 2, 4, 20, 21, 34, 40. So if we cannot have free and fair election, we cannot bring the right persons to government. If we don't bring the right persons to government, we cannot have good policies. We cannot have people who are visionary leaders that can ensure that the life of people are improved through government efforts. So we need to do that. Then we need majority rule. We need, finally, the protection of minority rights. You cannot say that because majority is what the game of politics is about, you don't even allow minorities to speak. The saying is that the minority will have their say and the majority will have their way. In Nigeria, the majority will have its way and its say, and nobody will speak. You cannot do that. Once you do that, you are not democracy. So it's the duty of the media to uphold all these things we are saying. It's the duty of the media to deprecate failed elections. You see, there are some stations who will announce an election that is fake, and they will say, oh, that was what INEC said. I think the media must go beyond that and be able to make the point that according to INEC, this was the result. So if we can do things like that, we'll be helping the society. Just before I sit down, let me say one or two things about the Maurison Media Group. I don't know much about them, but I was interested because when I got an invitation to come to speak at this occasion, I was surprised. Because not many people really want me to come and speak in their occasions because you do not know what I'm going to say. So if anybody took that risk to call me, the person must be strong. So that was my first reaction to the invitation by Dr. Dimeji. The second reason I came was that he strategically made me realize that the chairman of the occasion is Professor Patrick. He knows when I see that name, I said, okay, this must be a serious issue. So I think that the Maurison Group has visionary leadership. They know what to do. And they try to know about what to do. I think it's also good that they have radio and TV together. It doesn't mean that if radio and TV are not together, it won't work. The advantages of having radio and TV together, the first and most important is that you have only one board. When you have only one board, you are not going to have too much trouble. Because the trouble in broadcasting is the role of the board. The politicians who come onto the board distract completely away from the activities of the organization. So if you have your board members, the better. But if you have 17 board members for TV, 18 for radio, then you are the one that is an inviting problem for yourself. Let me say finally that it is not whether you have radio and TV together that is the issue. It's not whether you have one radio and then separate another person has TV. No. What matters is how you manage the organization. You need to manage the organization because broadcasting is a non-stop, continuous venture. It doesn't stop, right? And it has so many events that are interrelated. Take the news, for example. The man who goes to report is different from the editor. The man editor is different from the caster. The caster is different from the engineer. And so on and so forth. All of these people have to work together. The capacity and ability to coordinate the activities of these interrelated groups is what makes an organization viable. Sometimes we even ignore those things that we think are little. For example, you have a standby generator, and so you have a plant attendant. He's there, it's not important, it's just a plant attendant. Then the man slips away and they take the light. And because he has slept away, the station is off air. Yet you say it's not important. You see the importance. There must be an opportunity to ensure that nothing stops your transmission. If something can stop your transmission, that thing is important. So how do you ensure that your coordination is going well? By employing motivation. You must motivate your workers. Right? I'm sure we have many intellectuals here. You know the activities of Robert Maslow, the man who invented the hierarchy of needs. Right? Good. So what I'm saying about Maslow is not about motivation, it's about his argument that the best motivation is when you give a man or a worker what he needs, not when you increase salary. No, there are some people who don't want increased salary. There are some people that the increase of salary might even put in more problem. So look out for what a man needs and use it. And so you follow the 5 hierarchical steps of mastery, which talks about basic needs before you go to social needs, before you go to the higher needs, and before you go to the highest needs, where people can now completely demonstrate their potentials. So you must motivate people properly. When you motivate people properly, they work well for you, and you need to gain advantage. So I am advising my brother, the management of Maurison, that local motivation is a priority and must be taken seriously, especially in the media. Why? Because the media is the only profession in Nigeria that is poorly paid. Not only poorly paid, the pay does not come on time. Right? Not only that, the people work every day of the week. They are not like civil servants who go to work Monday to Friday, and Saturday and Sunday they are off. So if you have people in the private media, you must be prepared to pay them according to their work, and not to begin to think that you can lord it over the staff. So the personnel of an organization is the most important element in that organization. If you don't motivate your staff, you will not have efficiency, you will not have increased productivity, and you will not have collaboration and cooperation that can ensure that the organization survives over time. Thank you very much.
That applause for the Conference is now the invitation to our erudite Professor Tony Ibedia, beautiful and erudite Dimeji. Prof, thank you. No surprises why you are one of the reputable. Please, you can have a seat. Thank you, thank you. One of the reputable broadcast journalists around our nation and beyond. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to still inform you that you are welcome to the 2025 anniversary lecture of Maurison Media Group here at Gade Hotel. And just as the erudite professor was reciting and also dishing out those messages, we also have some distinguished guests that came in just to recognize them. Please make welcome Eze Saken, JP. Saken, wherever you are highly welcome to this August occasion. We also want to welcome, thank you, Dr. C.H.A. Chiwon. Please another applause for him. Another applause for him. You are highly recognized. We also want to recognize Honorable Samsoni Echuku. Please another applause for him. Another applause for him. Let's also recognize Dr. George Obuda. Dr. George, you are highly welcome. Another applause for him, please. We also want to humbly recognize Dr. Innocent A.K. Please another applause for him. Another applause for him. And Engineer Mavis Odubo. Another applause for her. This is a woman. Thank you so much. We also want to recognize Barrister Young M. Ayo Tamuno. Please another applause for her. Okay, thank you. Also recognize Alex Ndudi Ndebeli. Another applause for him. And Professor Bankole, please whenever you are, another applause for him, please. Round of applause. And Professor R.N. Amadi, you're highly welcome. Same for Dr. Joko Justice. You all are welcome to this anniversary lecture. God bless you. All right.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Don't take over my role as the chairman. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you profoundly for your attention while Professor Tony was presenting this paper. Can we please once again give him a round of applause? Thank you, Professor Oredia, for your very profound, very thought-provoking, as well as engaging lecture. I will not attempt to summarize the presentation at this point. I want us to take a little break and listen to my brother, the dear Vice Chancellor, who has a very good relationship with communication and media services in this country. He is one of those that from the beginning of the unbundling of mass communication established a faculty of Communication in this university, University of Banquet. She's a friend to the media and someone that is committed in promoting the ideas of media studies in this country. Professor George has done a lot to promote media scholarship, and he has been with us since morning. He came here around 10 o'clock, and I know what it means to sacrifice part of your Monday morning as a vice chancellor, like I said, of a big university like Gade. So we give him some 3 minutes to make his remarks so that he can take his leave.
Thank you, Chairman. The chairman of this very wonderful event, my dear brother, my chancellor, the keynote speaker, Professor Tony Redia, somebody I've known since when I was a child. When I saw him today, I told him, sir, it's the greatest pleasure for me that I've seen you face to face. All these years I've known him, I've not seen him face to face. Yes, today is the first day I'm meeting him face to face. And it's an honor to me. Let me also thank the chairman of this media family, that is Dr. Chinere Igwe. When he invited me, I looked at the letter. I would have been here ordinarily because of him. But when I also saw 2 names, Professor Tony Redia and Professor Banquet, I said, no work will keep me in the university. I must stop. Because the chairman of today's event, Professor Banquet, has so much interest in communication and media studies. In fact, he has facilitated for my university many equipment, facilities to make communication and media studies successful. I will tell you one thing. Some give the equipment, they tell you the thing is in Abuja, send transport, Prof. Ensure that I was in the University of Banquet when they delivered a trailer load of equipment to say, this report, this new faculty I've established, I'm supporting you. I've used my contact to get people all over the world to do preparing this for you. Thank you very much. Having said that, I want to congratulate the Maurison Media Group for this 2025 anniversary election. Most importantly, for bringing Tony Redia to Port Harcourt. Chairman of the group, you did very well. I want to say that the University of Port Harcourt is one of the first universities that unbundled Faculty of Humanities. When we saw what was happening in communication and media space, we said, no, we cannot continue to allow communication and media to remain just like, I don't know how to describe it, in humanities. This is a whole world of difference. And so it didn't take me time to go through the necessary required procedures through Senate, our council, and everything, and got the Faculty of Communication and Media established in the University of Gade. A lot of universities are still struggling to how to get it, but we got it. And since we got that, believe me, the media space, computer space is open in the University of Gade. And these people there, the faculty and students, are doing marvelously well. Now, I want to thank the media, public or private, for all what they are doing. The university requires more collaboration with you. Collaboration in what? What? Capacity development. The faculty members there, some, they are academics anyway, but there is also need for you to know what happens practically on the field. And then for my students, it is only when you also come to tell them what happens on the field that we can produce total graduates. That graduate that is ready for industry. And so I want to say that the University of Banquet is ready to collaborate more with public and private media for the purpose of ensuring that our students in the University of Banquet are exposed firsthand to what happens in the communication and media space. And then finally, I want to say that, today, everybody is knowledgeable in everything. I'm a medical doctor, but all of you here, I'm sure you're all doctors. Any problem, any ailment you have, you can even prefer treatment. Why? Because internet is there, technology, everybody goes everywhere. The same thing with communication and media. Why am I saying this? There must be appropriate gatekeeping. There must be appropriate gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is very, very key. Because if you don't do appropriate gatekeeping, then you go down, know what is law, what is it and what is that. And that will not be good for any organization. With this very few words, I want to congratulate the chairman of Maurison Group for this wonderful anniversary event. And for bringing all these people here, it shows that the man has capacity. Capacity chairman, thank you very much.
We want to use the occasion of the dignified presence of our Vice Chancellor here for him to present the certificate to our guest speaker, Professor Dimeji, please.
And I want to capture this momentum. Because I have to get bragging rights in this. If you say it's easy, then come and get something. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of wait. We should move this. Okay, on behalf of the Maurison Media Group, which is a very big conglomerate, I'm seeing a lot of things to do. Maurison Media Academy, which so many things, on behalf of all of them. I am presenting this certificate of appreciation to certify that Professor Tony Radian, OON, FNGE, FNIM, FSPSA, NIPR, was the keynote speaker at Maurison Media Group 2025 anniversary lecture with the theme Imperative of Private Broadcast Media in Sustainable Development. Sir, I should tell you that your insightful knowledge, analysis, and contributions greatly enriched the discussions today, providing valuable perspectives that enhance this program's success. We truly appreciate your engagement and we look forward to collaborating with you in the future. Congratulations, sir.
Please, a round of applause for our distinguished professor. The VC, sir. VC, we are joining you after the event. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have had a lecture from Professor Radia, and let me just in some few sentences try to summarize the entire discussions. The issues are very clear. Whether private or public broadcasting, the challenges are clear. With the advent of the internet and the revolution in information and communication technologies, and rise in political pressures, rise of new owners, all sorts of crimes and violent situations all over the world, so challenges are just quite clear. Apart from the remarkable developments that all these have brought, there are also 5 key things we need to know. 1, challenge of funding, challenge of technology, challenge of content, challenge of credibility, and challenge of freedom and safety for operational issues, in addition to the rise of new owners and all of that. By the time you break each of these challenges, you can write volumes and volumes of books. And these are the areas that our broadcast organizations are struggling with for them to be able to do what we call the 4 R's in broadcasting: reach, revenue, reputation, relevance, and resilience. These are what should guide any manager in the broadcast business today, not only in Nigeria but globally. How do we extend your reach? In dollars. How do you gain revenue? The strategies are also multiple and very, very clear in the new era using digital technology. How do you build reputation so that you are not caught up in all of these things of disinformation, misinformation, malinformation, fake news, hate speech, rumor mongering, and all of that, so that you can become a credible media where truthfulness, relevance, dynamism, and professionalism manifest themselves. These are the things, and I'm sure he has been able to summarize them beautifully well. So, Professor Redia, we thank you, but I'm sure the biggest thank will go to Dr. Ibe, the chairman of the Maurison Group, that has thought of organizing a series of lectures on an annual basis without stop. For you to be able to sustain the spirit and the quality of this lecture, it means you have some element of intellectual bent as well as the spirit of promoting not just your business, but also engaging with the larger community for the relevance of your media organization to be proved. So we thank you for creating this platform. We thank you for bringing us from all over the country. Another indication that you are a cosmopolitan fellow who thinks internationally, nationally, even if you are acting locally. So we thank you for the opportunity, and we thank you and your staff. Now, we have opportunity for Q&A, but before then, let's take the panel discussions. Then after that, we can combine the Q&A. Some of the questions can go to the guest speaker, they will go to even the chairman of the company, or to me as the chairman of the occasion, or to the panelists individually. Wherever you think your question can be properly addressed, don't fail to do that. Just note the question and wait. So let's now call on the panel discussants to please come here, who are going to say the stage for us. So let me invite Chief Honorable Author Kalako. Is he here with us, please? Okay. Next, we have Dr. Marco White, a colleague. Then Dr. Banquet Lawrence Dike. Dr. Dike. Good. Then Opaka Dokubo. And Susan Serekana, our chairperson for Nawatch, River State. Who's going to be your moderator? Who is the moderator? Do we have a moderator or not? Please, let's remove this. Bring one more chair. I'm just going to carry it. Are you also bring one more for chair. Bring that one. Bring chair. That chair is so good. Okay, I think we can start before I get a chair. Confidence. Bring this chair. Bring this chair. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please let us your attention for some minutes. We won't take much of your time. And from the eminent scholars line, speakers line here, I'm sure we are going to get some value for the time we are going to spare. So, okay, let's start with our Zonal Vice Chairman, Dimeji. You have listened to the lecture and you are also an active participant in the media landscape. What is your current assessment of the performance of the broadcast media, particularly the private broadcast media, in current Nigeria's democratic space?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Maybe we take 2 minutes for the first round.
Thank you very much. And thanks to the chairman of the Maurison Group for this opportunity, and indeed for the opportunity of meeting people like you and the leading institution, Professor Tony Iradia.
Excuse me, please, can we please be honorable for them to be able to perform? Let's listen. Let's give them some attention, please. People at the back. Let's have some studio silence, please.
Let me also take the opportunity to congratulate Maurison for their ability to survive the very harsh conditions under which we operate in this country. But this long. Having come this far, we're confident that truly. Thank you very much. Having said so, I think the coming of the private media, especially private broadcasting in Nigeria, is a blessing to the country. I'm not sure anybody will dispute that. Like the keynote speaker said, time was when all of us endured a situation where you had no choice but to sit back and only deal with whatever comes out of the government on second. But time came when the private broadcast media was introduced, and today we have Nigerians have the latitude and the freedom to listen to and to watch whatever they choose, and also contribute to discussions that have national implications and more freely. And
okay, thank you, Mayor Vice Chairman. Let's go to the Nawad chairperson. Nawad, what are the key issues? Please, people at the back, can we please have some silence so that we can have a meaningful engagement here? People at the back, please. Nawad, one of the key issues raised by Professor Iradia is the issue of motivation for staff. What is your own assessment as a union leader of the level of motivation that exists in the broadcast industry for the professionals that are daily employed to keep the system going?
Our professors in the house, our leaders, colleagues, and invited dignitaries, guests invited here. Well, my assessment on that is looking at what the professor just spoke about, motivation. I would say it is a fact. Even while he was talking, I was there
please
concurring with his points, because I know what is going on out there when it comes to the issue of motivation, especially in the private media house. So what he said is actually
the issue, one of the major challenges that is also confronting them. But why I'm saying the major is because if they are not being well taken care of, there is the issue that the challenge that they will be forced to look outside, thereby compromising their editorial content. And you know what that means. Once the editorial content is being compromised, it means that you put yourself into the news and trying to please whoever that have already given you that. So it's a major issue and a big challenge to the private media, even to the public too, not only the private, the public too, but it's most like the professor already talked about. If you lord over them, they will leave.
Our chairperson, in summary, no, we don't have over your microphone yet. When we talk of motivation, we talk of safety of the professionals who work in the system. And we have what we call psychological safety, physical safety, economic safety, social safety, gender safety, digital safety. What of these safeties do you think is not sufficiently catered for in our broadcast industry? Is it psychological safety, physical safety, or economic safety, or digital safety, or gender safety? Yes, for you. It's not sufficiently catered for.
It's the aspect of the economic safety.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, you are from the University of Port Harcourt. And how has your new curriculum been able to accommodate some of these emerging challenges in the broadcast industry?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, let me seek your permission to make some observation and correction so that we can hear with this knowledge. Last year during the National Advertising Conference, the National Orientation Agency did say that the national anthem, the first standard of the national anthem becomes the national anthem. The last standard is the national prayer. So when we're taking national anthem, we don't need to take the fifth standard. The first standard is the national anthem, and the last is the national prayer. I just felt I should make this clarification.
Noted. Yeah, thank you for reminding us.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me say that I'm also a beneficiary of the private broadcasting initiative, having worked with that communication, other creative before, that was the reporter, producer, and presenter at the point. And I want to add that, based on the question that you have, that the curriculum of my universities, as it is essentially now, and has to change to face the reality of time. And I can submit here that, like what the righteous person, some of our lecturers, some of the teachers of mass communication, hardly have some industry experience. Some don't have industry.
What of the content of the curriculum itself?
Yes, well, the content of the curriculum, maybe after the onboarding of mass communication and what they have on ground, we have seen a lot of improvement based on socializations of onboarding of mass communication department. The curriculum as it is now, there is a need and improvement. But the area that we really need to focus on is the manpower to do the curriculum way. We need to actually produce reference based on industry expectations and demand. That's essentially what I saw in that curriculum. I also want to observe, like I said, that some of our colleagues, I also remember the time we had advertising curriculum in Lagos, were there. I also made a solution that is also about time for lecturers to also do sabbatical in the industry. It wasn't necessarily going to the university to sabbatical.
Okay.
In collaboration with the industry to be able to have new skills of skills and be able to improve our curriculum.
Okay, let's go to Professor Harcourt. Now, what is the level of engagement or collaboration between the industry and the class?
Okay, violation.
All right, thank you very much. First, let me thank the guest lecturer. Bro, if you permit me, sir, let me speak a bit about what you just said. I might get into what you asked me about.
fact, I think they can go side by side. I think that with the new systems we have now, it makes that collaboration a lot of easier. If you remember before now, in communication, they didn't have this SWIS program where students are allowed to get into the industry, learn what's going on there. But now it's incorporated in the new curriculum, which also helps them have that town and gown relationship. Now, talking about the level of engagement, he had mentioned something here talking about training the trainer, so to speak, where the trainer should allow to do what that's saying here, be in the industry to do their sabbatical. There's nothing stopping lecturers doing sabbaticals in the industry. It's just that most of them don't want to go there. Maybe once they are unable to pay them. So the collaboration is very low now, but I think that luckily the Prof has told us here that it's willing and open. In fact, I just had a discussion with that. We need to follow up on that and see how the industry and the town and gown can meet at some point. The collaboration is not something we should be talking about now, but I think that we can get that.
Okay, thank you very much. I have had the opportunity of chairing the committee that abandoned mass communication in this country. We did the groundwork and eventually produced a document that was approved by the federal government. Professor Tony Redia and many of our colleagues were deeply involved. And I can confirm that in that document, we are trying to address some of these evolving challenges. And we have also tried as much as possible to strengthen the linkage between the industry and the academic community. Ideally, the classroom should be ahead of the newsroom in terms of equipment, in terms of level of professionalism, so that they will be able to train highly specialized individuals with competence and confidence for them to work with the industry and deliver. But what is happening now is that the newsrooms appear to be far ahead of many of our classrooms. And like we also rightly observe, one of our fallouts there is the ability of many of our colleagues who are lecturers to adjust their thinking and rebrand themselves by agreeing to relearn, retool, and rekit for them to be well informed with all these new gadgets that we are seeing in the industry. Communication is one of the most dynamic fields today in the world, where daily newer ways of doing things are coming up. Innovation is fast, and anybody, whether a professional, a manager, who is not able to check in and remain stagnant, the consequence is going to die. Now,
can I come in?
Yes.
Yeah, bro, you see, again, I will blame some of your people at your level, because we have failed to, form a kind of body that will help regulate what goes on in the communication faculties and departments. I'll say that because if you look at NIPR, for instance, where practitioners look at the membership, then go to Gore, go to them and look at the membership, and then there are regulations that those bodies should place or put in universities, for which that way, even you, the lecturer, you'll be forced to shape up yourself, because you know that if you don't shape up, you have somebody watching you and taking care of you. It's not just the university. That's what I want to add to that.
Thank you very much for your observation, but I think you also need to understand the history, nature, and dynamics of communication studies in our institutions for you to come to such a conclusion. Now, with your Banquet, just taking a step further. In the past, it used to be just one degree, BSc Mass Comm, but today we have 8 new degrees: BSc Journalism, BSc Broadcasting, BSc Development Communication, BSc Public Relations, BSc Advertising, BSc Strategic Communication, BSc Film and Multimedia Communication, and BSc Information and Media Studies. You could see how we are trying as much as possible to create windows of specialization so that there could be easier ways of maintaining some kind of regulation in what we do in the industry. If I have to give you the history of professionalism in the Nigerian media industry, it will take another long 1 hour. And that will also explain why we are slow and steady in establishing regulatory mechanisms. So we can discuss that outside and you can have a better understanding. But for now, let's see what we can achieve with all these new degrees that we have done in the form of mass communication that used to be in our universities. Now, NUJ, what extent is the NUJ able to promote, protect, and project the integrity as well as the freedom of professionals in the media industry?
I must say that it is one job that there's a responsibility of all of us. I know that as we speak, a lot of the privately owned media houses find it difficult to have chapels to allow their members, our members, to unionize. And that is a big challenge. When Professor was talking, he talked about the challenges of the privately owned media and the challenges you have in also the publicly owned media. And for me, the cure for both of them is the NUJ. I work in the public, I work with the Thai newspapers. But today, I have the opportunity or the privilege of being a regular voice on radio, discussing various issues on national level that has to do with our country and our state, running issues. Now, when I speak there, some of the things I'm able to speak or talk about in those discussions.
So what is the NUJ doing to promote safety and also motivate staff in these broadcast media organizations? What particular steps have you people taken?
All we are doing is trying to engage with the media ownership, like you said. It is easier for us in the publicly owned media houses to engage with management, as it were.
A student once said to me, "Sir, even though I'm studying mass communication, but I'm not willing and ready to practice in any of the media houses." Because for him, being a journalist is like signing treaty with poverty for the rest of your life. And he's not willing to do that. Is it a correct assessment?
I think we heard the professor when he said that the least paid job, or the least paid professionals in Nigeria are journalists.
Which means
that is very true.
So being a journalist is like signing treaty with poverty.
But what I need to tell you about this is that on the platform of the NUJ, you have opportunities to actually improve yourself. As we speak, I know somebody who ought to be here, the Deputy Vice President of the N from Nawaj, as we speak, is in the United States. Not from her medium, but on the platform of the union.
Okay,
that allows you to develop yourself, add value to yourself, and then you can fly. But leaving it up to your organization is very difficult.
Have you taken any specific steps to ensure the presence of the NUJ in our private broadcast media organizations?
Exactly, we are doing that, and even particularly for Maurison, we are pushing and continually pushing to ensure that they properly unionized. As we speak, it is ongoing, and I wish them to facilitate that process.
Thank you. Madam Nawaj, what is the level of gender safety for our female colleagues in the broadcast industry?
Well, our women are always, you know, that they're the front line when it comes to news and anything in society. Right now, their role
their level of safety.
Yeah, their level of
they are battling for them, giving them their news.
Yeah, their level of safety
is too harassment. It's too color.
Well, as I will speak now, like their level of safety is not guaranteed because NUJ does not have an insurance, for its members, which I know that it's one of those things that looking at the profession as NUJ, most times we discuss these issues and we feel it's a big challenge for us. So that way is not, we are not there, their safety is not guaranteed, especially when they are out there for news or especially during election period. Because I remember the time I was covering INEC and I encountered an issue. You know,
okay,
if something that happened then I know that there is no insurance coverage.
So what specific steps have you taken to address this stuff?
The specific step we've taken is that we have been advocating, speaking with seeing how the government ensure that we have this insurance.
So when are we going to see light at the end of the tunnel?
So I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I think my NUJ president should be able to tell you that.
Let me make a comment on this. I think this room provides opportunities for us to tell our guests what to do and who we are.
Can we connect with the discussants?
Yeah. What we do and who we are. I also to encourage the younger ones who probably want to take a career in communication. I'm proud to be one, as I want to say, Prof, is that I'm doing very well in marketing communication also. But let me now digress into them and say, add a voice to what you said. I think that the trading on the energy is only starting when there's election. When there's election, that's when I think energy becomes so active. I've not seen any coordinated, organized program of action for energy for members of the I can say that. Because if I work for, like I said, the private business, I was there, in the event where there is maybe accident, they ask you, I hope our camera is safe. Even before we talk about the web. So in that situation, you are not able to take into cognizance the fact that the welfare of these members should be of paramount. So the education, if I don't know, because I'm no longer there, we are not
trying to educate here. The education is not on trial. We are only analyzing.
Yes, it's not on trial, but since we have the opportunity, I want to say we are doing it. You should try and do it better because I know it's not in existence.
Okay.
I just want to add to that if you don't mind. You know, I think that for the student who have that question, I think that actually needs to be encouraged. In all honesty, the media houses are not trying. You know, when you heard the lecturer speak here, I have seen media houses where they just give you an ID card, and tell you this ID card to see.
Okay, thank you. Now, how can, as your last parting words, how can our media organization raise revenue for them to remain sustainable and independent? Don't forget, in media business, there is a saying, economic independence determines editorial independence. So how can our broadcast media organizations raise sufficient revenue that could safeguard, guarantee, and sustain their level of independence because of work?
All right, first and foremost, I think that there are a few things that media houses, both private and public, especially private, need to do to be able to sustain themselves. First and foremost, before they even do anything, they need to be careful with commercial bias. Because you check most media houses, you find out that they have this commercial bias. They only go where there's commercial, where there's money to be made. That's where they want to go.
Can you blame them?
No, I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you why I would blame them to some extent. You see, because there are several ways they could have also made.
What are the ways?
That's what I want to say now. First and foremost, partnership. They can get into partnerships, and those partnerships will bring them money. Again, look around you, sir. Look around the whole of Port Harcourt. How many of these stations even advertise themselves? I've yet to see the billboard carrying 95.5 trying to advertise the station. You only see them advertise themselves in their stations. Now, if you get into, for instance, intermediate film that we used to see in those days when Prof was there,
Are you aware with the advent of the internet, there are so many private owners that are operating online, and there are so many influencers that are now competing on the platforms for the little available advert revenue that you are going to broadcasting.
Oh yes, but the sky is wide enough for us to fly.
Let's go.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much for this question. The Nigerian advertising was, as it is today, is 605.5 billion as it is today. The question will ask themselves, how much does media make for all this? What can those monies go to digital?
The big tech.
Yes, they go to big tech. Now, how do we make money, sir? And it's a continue to remain there. I want to use my experience. I was with Sok and had target. I must make money on that program. Every guest that comes should be able to be a platform to generate revenue. What I would like you to understand, the private media house will continue to commercialize news to make money.
From the beginning, they were set for profit making.
Yes, so
they were not set as charity houses.
Yes. So they will continue to commercialize.
No. Okay, madam, your last word, please.
That's what, like our professor talked about while he was presenting his lecture, that the private media and the government media must collaborate together. Now, they must collaborate together to look for a way to seek for funds and be able to promote their own activities as well, promote the government. So if you are in a private media house, and you know I'm in the government media house, I have more access to the government to get you into that. That's collaboration. That way, we can do it together. Unlike today, what I see the scenario is that the private media house see themselves as more.
Please, can we have some silence so that we are just surrounding and we know you are tired already.
The private media house today sees themselves as more closer to the government, even than those who are in the government.
Now let's take the last contribution.
Well, regarding how to make some money, regarding how broadcast institutions can make some more money, I think they need to have more reach. A lot of what we have, a lot of them are concentrated within the urban areas. Outside the urban areas, you don't get to. Within River State, I'm sure, if you get to maybe 3, 4, 5 miles away from Port Harcourt, it will be difficult to get to hear Wish FM. And that is a problem. So if the more you are able to reach, I'm sure the more you are going to have clientele as well, or listenership, and then you can attract people to the station and make more money. Finally, your station can train you. This is to the young ones. Your station can train you, but you also have another level of opportunity at the union that can develop you in various ways. I can mention a lot of people, and I'm sure the chairman knows about Sanitoro. He was a contemporary. He was president of the NUJ. NUJ gave me a platform to move. You have people like Smart Ade. In River State here, I just mentioned somebody who is already abroad. So please give them the opportunity, give them the platform, and let them develop themselves and add value to your station. And I'm sure that way you will also gain a lot.
Thank you, distinguished panelists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the contributions here. Some points are clear. It is not about establishing media organizations or radio or TV houses, but the issue of sustenance is the greatest challenge now. And the ways or strategies are clear. One, we have to invest in technology, we have to invest in capacity, we must diversify, we must collaborate, and we must understand our audiences as well as the dynamics of our areas of operations. If not, we shall continue to wallow with complaints and operate without satisfying the changing needs of our diverse audiences. We thank you for your attention, and we thank Maurison Media Group for giving us the opportunity to come and share some of our thoughts with you. Good afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, please, before the panelists leave,
appreciate them through the figures of certificate of participation. Chairman, sir.
All right, we only want to appreciate the following discussants. We have, this is Dr. Akot White.
Dr. Akot, a friend from Rose. This is a certificate of appreciation from the Maurison Media Group for your active and valuable contribution in the course of this anniversary lecture.
We have Dr. Lawrence Dike.
Dr. Lawrence Dike from Uniport. This is a certificate of appreciation from the Maurison Group to tell you that they are happy with what you have said here and the contributions you have been making in the industry. And please keep on doing what is good for the promotion of broadcasting, not only in Rivers but all of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
We have Mrs. Susan Serikara.
This time you should be the chairman to do the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Susan Serikara. This is from Maurison Media Group, certificate of appreciation as panelist in the Maurison Media Group 2025 Ambassador Lecture. Congratulations.
A round of applause, please. A round of applause. And then we have Opaka Dokubo.
Certificate of appreciation to Opaka Dokubo for being a panelist at the Maurison Media Group 2025 Ambassador Lecture. Congratulations.
A round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, in course of my speech, my welcome address, I didn't mention two names. Engineer II.
Please a round of applause for him. Please, he's coming. A round of applause for him. He is one of the renowned callers, consistent caller.
Also seated shepherd image maker. Also seated. In all the what we are doing, what you see every day, popularizing the wishes.
Let's give it a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you.
This is a certificate of appreciation for being the chairman of CCC. Do you know the meaning of CCC? Chairman Committee of Concerned Citizens. This is to appreciate you and to urge you to continue to do more and be a voice for the voiceless. Wish everyone will always be there for you. Congratulations.
The next person, Nande Wampo, advice to because, Mr. Chairman, sir, this man is the highest caller to UCFM program in Rivers State. In about 7 years of existence, this is the highest caller. We're a technological driven organization, so we have data of those who call us. He has called more than everybody. As I speak, I can say that this man has called us nearly 1 million times on our program.
By calling regularly on radio, it's not an indication that you have nothing to do. Yes. Or you have nothing more useful to do with your time. But it is an indication that you really care. And for us in Maurison Media Group, we are also celebrating you. They say success as many fathers, failure is an offer. So we are appreciating the success that you have been able to make out of all that you have been doing and promoting not only yourself but also promoting the name of our radio station. Please don't get tired. Continue to do more, and wherever you see something, say something.
Mr. Chairman, I stand as chairman of Maurison Media Group certificate of appreciation. This is to satisfy that Professor Umaru A. Bat was the chairman of Maurison Media Group 2025 Ambassador Lecture. This is an independent chairman. He's a very solid president whom we are well pleased, and therefore on behalf of the group present this certificate to our chairman for a very hard-working effort made to ensure the success of
Please round of applause for our chairman of the 2025 anniversary lecture. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next set of recipients are our value-added guest analysts. Mr. Chairman, which FM is a 247 radio, and in that 247 we have 98% of our program having color in. Only 2 programs does not have color in: inspirational music. That's the only program that does not have colors and guests. Just play music to raise your level of inspiration so that you can be with your maker. Mr. Chairman, sir, to appreciate those people who have done this wonderful thing to us, we are also issuing a certificate of appreciation. As we speak, as a digital driven company, to their mail and WhatsApp number, our team are sending their certificates. As we speak, we started presenting this certificate, they are sending their certificate. So if you check your platform, your WhatsApp, your email, you will see your certificate. So we appreciate all of you very, very well. We do know that as you work hard and bring yourself in the forefront, like in the II, who is the highest scholar, and Albert Otikos, who is the sole image maker, will bring you out in our next ambassador lecture. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, the bigger chairman. He is the chairman of the entire, I am the chairman of this function. Now we go to Q&A. Straight comments, short questions, and thank you, Bankole, please. Okay, the man in white, please. Just a minute.
All right, distinguished guests, just to inform us that there are some of our dignitaries that walked in while our discussions were on by the panelists, and so we make welcome Comrade Boma Wareboy, the Acting Secretary, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Rivers State Council. Please, wherever you are, round of applause. Thank you, thank you. Chief Samuel Okoli, Chairman, Eze Council of Indigo, Rivers and Bayelsa State. Please, round of applause for him. Thank you so much. You are highly recognized. Also want to recognize and welcome Chief Ambassador Mrs. Ifeoma Kanu Ada Ndi Orioma Ndibo. You are highly welcome. A round of applause for her. Thank you. We also want to recognize Nicholas Obiaho, Pastor Samuel Ajayi, and representative, Rep. Emmanuel Deya. You are highly recognized. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for all of them. And to every of our followers and listeners, please also inform you that this program is live on YouTube via Atlantic Television Network. That's our channel, Atlantic Television Network. You can watch this live on YouTube. God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please. Yes, sir. Please introduce yourself and straight to the question, or if it's a comment, make it sharp, short, and sweet.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm happy to be here because I've always been part of this organization. As a chairman, with all due respect, mine is a little comment. Protection of professionals in the media industry. When the guest lecturer was making his speech, something drew my attention. The issue of the 36 governors election. 36 persons went for election. One person had 19, the other person had 16. And the journalist will be compelled to lower the integrity of his profession having been aware that this is what actually transpired in that election, and then you still went on national television, or private television, or radio station, and announced a congratulatory message to the man who lost. What the credibility of the profession is at stake here now. The issue is, what is the mechanism put in place in case the journalist said, "Sir, with due respect, I won't announce this. Instead, take your job." What is the mechanism put in place to protect such a journalist in order to sustain the credibility of information being given out to the masses? Thank you very much.
Vice President, this question is for you. Next question, please, so you will respond at the. Let's take the questions first. Any other question or comment? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, where you have mass communication oracles and living ancestors like Professor Marupate and Tony Radio, I think you need a lot of audacity to be able to contribute to what is ongoing. I want to talk about adversarial contribution, adversarial journalism that the keynote speaker talked about. However, you made a non-committal statement by saying that it's not as if that would not be, it's not called for again. It's still effective. This is the only country where monkeys, pythons, swallow. This is the only country where the living dead in cemeteries hide money in the cemeteries. Because if money is in the cemetery, it means it's from the dead. And then you have pythons. And in Nigeria, these pythons or monkeys that swallow money, we don't do as much as pursue them, not to talk of killing them. And we hear so much about this. I think that is adversarial journalism, activist journalism, advocacy journalism that will rise to talk about issues like this. Because since we heard about money is being swallowed by monkeys,
I hope you are going to read another paper.
Sir?
You are not representing another paper.
No, I'm not, sir. Since we heard about all this, we've not really heard about media attack on it, because we need to know what these monies that we have recovered. Even when we talk about Bachandu, every day you hear about Bachandu from different parts of the world, but you don't hear about the projects that this money has been used to accomplish. So I'm just supporting the fact that this adversarial journalism is still important. And then for public broadcasting, because of lack of creativity, because of strictly professionalism and undue interference in day-to-day affairs of stations, in state-owned stations, it will appear as if they are not necessary again. I want to still say they are necessary, because it's through them you have distribution and the management of frequencies. Otherwise, we will have jamming of frequencies here and there, especially when contiguous stations are almost on the same wavelength. So I support what the speaker said very much. Yeah.
I hope you note that this is the era of disruptions in almost everything you can think of. And this is also the era of assault on truth. I will not go further than that. Yes, we have one person at the back. Please make it short and snappy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Mr. Daniel. My concern about some of the presentation here today is from the panel discussion, where you were asking what are the measures that have been taken to protect the female journalists. And with the response that came out from there, simply means there are no workable things for now. And I will still point that down to people presenting false reports on what they have actually seen firsthand happen. Why? They are trying to protect themselves from maybe those persons they are trying to review what is going on for. Now, what measures can be taken to protect those that sees the truth and want to say the truth just the way it is? And journalists, what measures should be taken immediately? Because what is happening in Rivers State, to be precise where we are, we know the truth, but we can't say because there are no protection for those persons that are willing to say what is really going on. So that is my question.
Okay, Professor Tony Radia, for your attention, he is talking about professionalism and risk management in reporting tensions and very serious political issues. How can he sustain his professionalism at the same time handle the risks involved in telling the truth? Any other question finally? Okay, yes. Please make it snap.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. My name is Goodluck Edafe. I want to ask, in several countries, we have what we call state morality. State morality. That is to say, a level of a standard of morality that every individual in the country must conform to. Why is it that in Nigeria we don't have state morality? Two, why is it that the media in Nigeria is not promoting state morality? Because in Nigeria, we individually will live the way we like, not wondering whether it is a uniform behavior that anyone who deviates from that can say this is an abnormal behavior. Why is it like that in Nigeria?
Professor Tony Radia, for your attention, the questions are for you. Okay. Finally, okay, last two questions. This hand. The man in white, okay, and the zonal. Let's take the last three. The man in white, the one you are passing, you don't want to be escaping the one.
Thank you very much, Prof, for giving me the opportunity to really raise a question that requires attention to address as an urgent matter. I'm Reverend Dr. Eze from Gade. Coming from the perspective of management, in fact, it's an great excitement and opportunity for me to be in this anniversary celebration. I have been speaking and presenting messages, marriage and counseling in this radio station for a number of years. And when this invitation was extended to me,
what is the question, sir?
So the question I have in mind is looking at the status of Nigerian economy as a nation that works on mixed economy, and the imperative of sustainability is paramount importance in our nation. When you were advocating here, there was a silent view that was touched that calls for attention. Sometimes jobs in Nigerians, especially those working in private sectors, are not protected because announcing can lead to termination of job and not the rest of it. So now, we are going to discover that in the government sector, the government alone cannot fund some institutions. So what we are saying now is what measures should be put in place to protect information and communication and other variables in the nation.
Thank you, sir.
As
I know Professor Radia, listen. Yes,
thank you very much.
The man in blue, and then the last one, ZDNTA.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Chief Actually. My question goes to the Chairman, Maurison Group of Company, Maurison Media Group. In course of the discussion with the panel, one said that this radio station or television station is not being advertised outside within Port Harcourt apart from the radio station. And Mr. Chairman, sir, what efforts will you put in place after this program to see that this radio station and the television station is being put on billboards outside your station?
Thank you. Finally,
Thank you very much. Mine is actually not a question but a contribution. You talked about motivation. And motivation for me shouldn't always be money. The fact that you send me out and you give me the boldness to go out should be a greater motivation. Sometimes you send a staff out and he does the reportage
and the reporting is coming back on something that probably somebody is not happy with, and the person comes back to you, but you were aware when he went out. So the fact that you can stay behind him and say yes, he did the right thing because you were aware, that for me is a greater motivation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Zedi. But like we said, yes, it's good to motivate the fellow to be courageous, active, and go to the field. But the common saying is that there is no romance without finance. Very simple. If you want the man to be in love with his job, you must also give something to support that interest. Okay, thank you very much. Now let's take responses to the question. Chairman, Donald Chairman. After this, we have two more things. We have the induction of the new members into the SNB, and then we have our category project. So please.
First and foremost, let me say that the Nigerian Union of Journalists and UJ has the capacity to protect its members. Any day, any time.
And is it protected?
Yes, we are. The second thing is that it is good that the ownership, we're talking about ownership here now, and the chairman is here. When Dr. Bankole said what he said the people that asked him the question, what is happening to our equipment, is management. They don't even care about the human being they had sent to go cover an event for the station. So that is where...
And you just use something. Thank you very much. Let's go to Dr. Heredia. Dr. Heredia. Professor Heredia, sorry. You have many of the questions, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I heard a few of the questions, and I think that some of them were the repetition of others. I also heard the chairman of the occasion answering about 3 or 4 of them. So I really didn't know I would be requested to answer again. But I took note of a particular one that I would like to talk about.
People at the back, please, the back benchers, give us your attention here.
And that has to do with the question of how do you maintain management along with professionalism? Because in the middle of it, you may be sacked while you are trying to do professional things, which was asked from here. Now, let's look at it from this angle. Who is the person in question? If the person in question is a staff, what the staff needs to do is to follow professionalism. If the person is a manager or a supervisor, what that manager or supervisor needs to do is to accept the principles of vicarious liability. Vicarious liability. It means the principle of accepting fault for what your juniors did on your behalf. I'm not going to talk much about it, but tell you a story that happened to me. I was DG of NTA, and the zonal director, like my sister here now, of one of the states, was not in the good books of the ruling party. So the Minister of Information was told to reach me to remove him, to remove that zonal director. Because according to him, the man was covering opposition parties. So the minister came and said, the president says, remove zonal director X. So I said, what did he do? He said, well, this is what he did, this is what he did, this is what he did. They didn't say that you and I should discuss it. They said, remove him. Alright? Which was clear directive. So I said, okay, no problem. So I took the paper, called the zonal director in question, and said, such and such and such and such, what happened? He told me the story.
Then I sought audience with the president. I went straight to the president and I told the president I've come to beg him for a favor. He said, what is it? I said, one of my staff went to an event and did exactly what I said he should do. You now say I should remove him. How do I stay and remove somebody who did what I asked him to do? He said, were you the one that sent him? I said, yes. I said, in fact, I told him on the phone that I commend him for doing it. Then he looked at me and said, if that is the case, he shouldn't go. Now, why am I telling this story? Because that same person who didn't go became DG later. And a staff like he was committed the same political infraction. He was asked to remove the person and he quickly removed the person. Now, what that tells you is that how you play the leadership role will show whether your organization can have respect for you. Right? And you find out that sometimes this whole idea of self-censorship and this idea of cringing and wanting to be in office for long, those of us who were not cringing, we even stayed longer than those who were cringing. So there is no need to be cringing and to be trying to stay in office and to be trying to do the function all the time, helping people. I never did that. Now, you have a story. The first lady at the time suddenly died. Stella Bassendon suddenly died. The Minister of Information drove to my office in the evening and said, the Federal Executive Council has just finished meeting and they have resolved that the coverage of the death of the First Lady should be low-key. We should take it low. That the President will not like it because he said because it's his wife that we are making so much noise about it. Especially as 2 days earlier, there was a plane crash in this town that killed students, if you remember. So many students died, and so Federal Executive will imagine that we cannot ignore those students that died and just be singing the First Lady. So I said, no, that's what we said. Yes. Thank you very much. I said, well, I would have loved to say, no, please. You know, when this type of things, I don't want us to discuss because the reason why I drove to your office to tell you this story that the Federal Executive Council member, that is ministers, told him in unison, go and tell that madman in NTA because he won't hear. He won't hear. So that's why he came to tell me, if I like, I can obey. If I like, I can disobey. It's my problem. So when he left, I asked myself, what is the function of DG NTA? This is First Lady of the nation. She died. When we cover it, who are likely to be the target audience? The first is CNN, BBC, another foreign body. They will take their feed from NTA. They will not come here. They will take what NTA covers. So it's not just the signal, but the content. You need to be careful about your coverage because you are now into a long coverage that will matter. So I said, this minister again. All right, so I made up my mind that I was not going to do what the Federal Executive Council had done. Firstly, there's no journalist there. It's only me that is a journalist. I also know that if it backfires, I'm the only one that will be blamed. So it is better to remove me than to be blamed. Alright? Maybe one of the reasons why I'm able to do some of these things, if you listen to my CV, I have so many degrees. So if you remove me from A, I go to B. The meaning is that journalists, you should study hard. Have several qualifications, read the encyclopedia of knowledge. People will be afraid of you. Good. So I realized that there was going to be a problem and I was ready for it. So I sent the people back to the airport to go and await the arrival of the body of the late First Lady. So they went. Everybody, including the minister that said we should not come back, they were all at the airport. So low key means you say very little things about the coverage.
And because I am a professional, and because I know that my staff will run away when they stop me, I took control. I went to the studio. I became director of the program. And I told them what, as soon as the plane landed, I just killed the presenter. Body of late First Lady arrives in Abuja. We saw the plane arriving, we saw the one. So by the time the minister came back to town, and other people were now reaching them, like, look, the NTA was all over the place with this coverage after we said they should not do that. So the minister decided that he was going to protest, and that the government should decide whether they want to keep him or they want to keep me. So it was me versus him. Right? I didn't say anything to him. I just continued with what I was doing. 2 days later, delegation of Nigerians went to Abeokuta to go and sympathize with the president on the death of his wife. We were there covering. I just ignored the slogan that I should be looking because I know it doesn't make sense. Because the coverage of an event is determined by the level of interest in that event. If all ministers were at the airport and you say, "We should go there," what are you doing there? So this day, the president was receiving this delegation. NTA took it, and the president was thanking Nigerians for their support and the way they helped to sympathize and is very impressed, especially the wonderful coverage by NTA. So, you know, it's not only that people heard that. Later in the night, the first story of the bulletin was President comments NTA. Alright? So it draws attention. I knew that from that headline, the minister should start to be afraid. He should start to be afraid and start to. I better be careful with this man. So he ended. The president came back. The burial finished, and he invited the minister. I said, "Minister, well done. I'm very happy with the coverage done by NTA. I know you are working with them, and that you people are doing the right. So please, I want the tapes that will cover." Then the minister came to my office. He said, "My brother, president said he wants tape." I said, "Pay for what?" He said, "The coverage." I said, "We did not cover." He said, "No, I said, no, you said we should not cover." So we didn't cover. So whatever you saw, are you sure it's NTA? So now, what would the president go back to tell him? And what would the minister go back to tell the president? You know what he did? He went to friends who are close to me to beg so that we can reconcile, so that the tapes can come out. Right? Now, this is what it takes when you have courage. But this courage must not be based on bravado. It must be based on professionalism. It must be based on consistency. Right? It must be based on your capacity to show that you are leading well. You must never be interested in supporting one person that will give you material benefits over the other. Once you can do that, nobody can stop you, especially in the public media. The people that are stopped are those looking for money. If you are doing your job and you are doing your job based on facts, nobody can stop you. So I think that is what we should all take. Thank you.
Thank you. And from all of the issues raised, it's clear that institutions and systems are built on the sweat and sometimes on the blood of leaders. Leaders must sacrifice for institutions to remain and become solid to serve the rest of the society. In other words, the pain of the leader should be the gain of the follower. That is the summary. But if you are the leader and you always think of your gain only, then certainly the followership will be receiving the pains. Thank you very much. Now let's go to the next item, which is the cutting of the anniversary cake by our chairman, and let me invite Professor Tony Regia, the ZD of LTA, the deputy president of SNB, the vice president, and then some of our elders here to also join us.
All right, while we...
Okay, now let's invite the panelists.
This is time for the cutting of the cake, the anniversary cake.
Chief Richard here, Chief Well, Dr. Oka.
If you know you are the car owner, ABJ 25 AAE, we are asking you to please report. Car owner, ABJ 25 4AE, report. Come.
I go on and they never they battery low for this time. We go off. We don't start on now.
Madam, MC. MC. Come MC. MC. Arrange them as women on one side. Just arrange.
Please, can we move forward a little so we can, let's have a good C shape. No, let's go back a little. Mommy, let's go back a little so that we can fill up the backdrop. Let's spread out. Let's spread out a little. Same here. Same here. Okay. Lights. Thank you.
Some people should go this side.
There is space here. We still have space here.
No, look at it.
Right, take off.
Madam, I can't get them.
Right, take off. Madam, right, take off.
Okay. Let's inform you that you are watching the live program of the 2025 anniversary.
Climb.
Ambassador of Maurison Media Group, a narrative of media broadcast in sustainable development here at Capitalist Hotel, Port Harcourt Real Estate.
Okay. Right, Jacob.
All right, so we're going to cut the cake now, and because Jesus is the center of it all, we're going to do the spelling of Jesus. And at the end of the word S, we're going to call the cake. So, can we go now? Let's start with the first letter. J. Say S, U, and S. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause as we celebrate the cutting of the cake for 2025 anniversary lecture. Details. Okay, so we're going to have a group photograph. Let's start with the discussant, the panelists. Okay. Let's have the cake removed. Do we have any cake members? Please get ready. We're going to be part of the photograph here. We're not done. Okay. Let us have the general photograph and then you can take up there.
Okay, panelists.
The discussant.
Madam Christabel, please, you are here. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Let's have a distinguished keynote speaker and our chairman.
So please excuse.
NUJ, are we here? Representative of NUJ, please get ready.
Panelists.
Okay, panelists first one. NUJ, get ready. SMB, get ready as the Center of Nigerian Broadcasters. NJ, over there. NJ members. Okay. SMB. Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SMB, let's have them. Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. Those already inducted, not those that will be inducted today. Those already inducted into the Nigerian Society of Broadcasters, let's have them. Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, River State Chapter, everybody represented, we have a chair. Please, let's come up. Sports Writers, let's come up. SMB. Those who are inducted into SMB, please get ready.
All right. Apathy, okay.
Name. Okay. Advertising practitioners of River State. Whatever you have, please come up. Advertising practitioners of River State. If we have our analysts here with us. Okay. New members, we are inviting you. NIN.
Is it NIN? NIN. There is NIN here. All the special guests,
please go on.
Where should I sit down? All the guests, please.
Whichever parliamentarians, we are inviting you to come up. Our TV discussants, we are inviting you to come up. Our dear parliamentarians, please come up.
Our guest analysts.
All guest analysts, please, you are invited to come up. All guest analysts. Our sponsors, get ready.
All our guests.
All our guests, you are invited. Parliamentarians. All the newspaper animals, Atlantic Television animals, Madam Larisha, you are invited to the team. Please come up.
All the guests, analysts. All the guests, analysts. Go behind so we can accommodate girls. Look back so I can show you. I think it's said by self like this. We should play Samara.
We want to invite all the on-air personalities of we shall ladies and gentlemen, we are not wrong. All AOBs. All the on-air personalities, TV, anchors, Please, let's come up, let's come up, let's come up. Sir. Just to tell you that we still have a couple of events and the short term will be wrapping up this program. Alright, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have quiet, let's have quiet. This is the time we've been looking for. We want to go straight to the induction ceremony of broadcasters into the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. And so, all those that are registered, please get ready. But we're inviting all delegates that are here for the induction ceremony into the Nigerian Society of Broadcasters. Please, let's come up, let's come up. All those that are formally registered for this induction ceremony, let's come up. We are very time conscious. Please, let's do that in a jiffy. Let's do that. All those that are registered for today's induction into the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, you are invited to come up. Thank you. All right. We are not seeing them. We are not seeing those who inducted. Where are they? Please come up. We want to see you here. All those that are registered for today's induction. Please, let's come up. Let's come up.
You know you are registered.
Okay. Member admin, you are requested to please submit the list of those that are registered to be inducted today into the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. It is a great privilege to be a member of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. And I tell you that this opportunity is awesome. So for those of us that have got the full registration as we wait for this program today, please come up. As we're coming out, please come to
Well, I'm not going to climb up now. We can't suffer with this one. They do another thing, they do one thing different. Everyone suffer here. Let them to climb up now.
Let's climb up. Let's climb up. I'm inviting the chairman of the occasion, Professor Maurison Party, who will coordinate as usual this section. Alright, we have our prof here and our chair. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see is where one of the South Sudan occasion where we get to see formal induction of broadcasters into the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, well recognized within Nigeria and beyond. Let me hand over this microphone now to our erudite professor, who will make a speech and then we will formally continue. Please, let's go backward.
Put the light down. Let them move back a little so that.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting moment for us at the level of the executive committee of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. We always welcome new members into the body. And here we have the Deputy National President, Mrs. Christabel, the National Vice Chairman for South South, Mr. Frank, and in his zone, we will ask him to carry through the work taking and they are also the national.
Man, I go like this now. It's come again. Man, I go the other side.
The President Society of the Grand Master, Professor Bankole, the Deputy President, First African German.
Which kind of man that will be this one? I will sound this like.
May I represent the National President, formally induct you as members of the Society of the I am sure you are all aware of the functions and your duties as members of the SME, and I hope you are all of editorial, current affairs, programs, and engineering perspective. You just say after me, as this is the vote of office of the society. You call your name as you see the line. I do solemnly affirm that in my capacity as member of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, I shall faithfully serve the society and implement the policies and decisions of the society in line with the objectives of the society. I shall not allow my personal interest to influence my official decisions and in all circumstances to be fair to all members in the discharge of my duties. I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any unauthorized person any matter which shall become known to me as an officer of the society, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties. So help me God.
You are welcome into the Society for Nigerian Broadcasters. This ceremony comes up bigger than this and more language. The way we do our impression is one, we have some manager in a very beautifully dressed manner. We usually also hold dinner, and there will also be a one-day workshop that will be very relevant. But for circumstances, we have abridged the version. So what we are doing now is like temporary admission. If you do not have a SNB number, you are not supposed to get. You better go to the portal to register, get your number. Every member has a number. And when we are publishing the list of members, qualified members for our national activities, once you do not have the number, you cannot be part of us. So we are going to admit you temporarily for now, but at a later date, is either you organize the ceremony as it is here in Vegas when we come, or when we are organizing our national convention in Abuja or elsewhere, you go and then join the rest of the members where we are going to have our lectures, our dinner, and all the other entitlements that we should have. So, but for now, for your own interim, we management committee, organize yourselves, and let us have updates on what you are doing. The first assignment should be for you to organize a visit to all the broadcast media houses in Rivers. One participant, let them know about their existence and what we are all going to do and what we are capable of doing. Unfortunately, we do not have that. I would have given a lengthy lecture on everything about the SNB, but we are going to keep that for a later date. Once again, on behalf of the Deputy National President here, the Vice President, the Group Manager, our inducted member here, welcome you and wish you a very, very rich and fruitful professional engagement as you become qualified members of the SNB. Thank you very much.
With the official function of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, and that's what we just did now. So we're about to take a photograph for record purposes. Alright, thank you so much, DJ. Because of the